ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो
ओम नमो भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो
ओम नमो
भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं
नारायणो
नारायणं
नमस्कृतं
नमस्कृत्यं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव
नरं चैव
नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवी
देवीं सरस्वतीं
व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
ततो
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं
नित्यं भागवत
सेवया
सेवया
भगवति उत्तमश्लोके
भगवती
भगवति उत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
Reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, title Conclusion, the Perfection of Renunciation. And today's verse is verse number 47. Shreyan Swadharma Viguna
श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो
धर्म
विगुणः
विगुण
Paradharmat Swa Anustitha
परधर्मास्व
मात्र अनुष्ठिता
अनुष्ठिता
Swabhava Niyatam Karma
स्वभाव नियत तं
नियतं
कर्म
कर्म
Kurvannapnoti Kilbhisham
कुर्वन्
आप्नोति
आप्नोति
किल्बिषम्।
किल्बिषम्।
Shreyan Swadharma Viguna
श्रेयान्
स्वधर्म
स्वधर्मो
विगुण
विगुणः
Paradharmat Swa Anustitha
पर स्व
परधर्मास्व
अनुष्ठिता
अनुष्ठिता
Swabhava Niyatam Karma
स्वभाव नियतं
स्वभावनियतं
कर्म
कर्म
Kurvannapnoti Kilvisham.
कुर्वन्
कुर्वन्
आप्नोति
आप्नोति
किल्बिषम्।
किल्बिषम्।
Anyone would like to lead?
श्रेयान् स्वधर्मो विगुणः
श्रेयान्
Shreyan
स्वधर्म
Swadharma
विगुणः
Viguna
परधर्मास्व अनुष्ठितात्
स्व
Paradharmat
अनुष्ठिता
Swanustita
स्वभावनियतं कर्म
स्वभाव
Swabhava
तं
Niyatam
कर्म
Karma
कुर्वन् आप्नोति किल्बिषम्।
कुर्वन्
Kurvannapnoti
आप्नोति
Kilvisham.
स्वधर्म विगुणः
श्रेयान्
धर्म
Shreyan
स्वधर्मो
Sardharma
विगुणः
Viguna
परधर्मात् स्व अनुष्ठितात्
परधर्मास्व
Paradharmat Swanustita
अनुष्ठितात्
स्वभावनियतं कर्म
स्वभावनियतं
Swabhava Niyatam
कर्म
Karma
कुर्वन् नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्।
कुर्वन् आप्नोति
Kurvannapnoti Kilvisham.
किल्बिषम्।
श्रेयांस धर्म विगुण
श्रेयान्
Shreyan
स्वधर्मो
Swadharma
विगुणः
Viguna
परधर्म स्व अनुष्ठितां
Paradharmat
परधर्मास्व
Swa
अनुष्ठितात्
Anustita
स्वभाव नियतं कर्म
Swabhava
स्वभावनियतं
Niyatam
कर्म
Karma
कुर्वन्नाप्नोति किल्बिषम्।
कुर्वन्
Kurvannapnoti
आप्नोति
Kilvisham.
किल्बिषम्।
Thank you very much. Word by word meaning. Shreyan, better.
श्रेयान् बेटर
Swadharma, one's own occupation.
स्वधर्म
one's own occupation.
Viguna, imperfectly performed.
विगुण
Viguna imperfectly performed.
Paradharma,
परधर्म
then
Pardharma,
another's
then another's
occupation.
occupation.
दान अनदर
Occupation. Su Anusthita,
Su anushthita,
perfectly done.
perfectly done.
Swabhava Niyatam,
स्वभाव
Svabhavaniyatam,
prescribed according to one's nature.
prescribed according to one's nature.
Karma, work.
Karma, work.
Kurvan, performing.
Kurvan, performing.
Na, never.
Na, never.
Apnoti, achieves.
Apnoti, achieves.
Kilvisham,
Kilbisham,
sinful reaction.
sinful reaction.
Translation by Sri Venkateswara Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. It is better to engage
It is better to engage
in one's own occupation,
in one's own occupation,
even though
even though
one may perform it imperfectly,
one may
one may perform it imperfectly,
than to accept
than
than to accept
another's occupation
another
another's occupation
and perform it perfectly.
and
and
perform
perform it perfectly.
Duties prescribed
Duties prescribed
according to one's nature
according
according to one's nature
are never affected
are
are never affected
by sinful reactions.
by sinful reactions.
Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Anyone would like to read this page?
One's occupational duty is prescribed in Bhagavad Gita. As already discussed in previous verses, the duties of a Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra are prescribed according to their particular modes of nature. One should not imitate another's duty. A man who is by nature attracted to the kind of work done by Shudras should not artificially claim to be a Brahmin. Although he may have been born into a Brahman family. In this way, one should work according to his own nature. No work is abominable if performed in the service of the Supreme Lord. The occupational duty of a Brahman is certainly in the mode of goodness. But if a person is not by nature in the mode of goodness, he should not imitate the occupational duty of a Brahman. For a Kshatriya or administrator, there are so many abominable things. A Kshatriya has to be violent to kill his enemies, and sometimes a Kshatriya has to tell lies for the sake of diplomacy. Such violation and duplicity accompany political affairs. But a Kshatriya is not supposed to give up his occupational duty and try to perform the duties of a Brahmin.
Okay, let me read this paragraph and someone else can read the next page. One should act to satisfy the Supreme Lord. For example, Arjuna was a Kshatriya. He was hesitating to fight the other party. But if such fighting is performed for the sake of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, there need be no fear of degradation. Anyone would like to read this page?
In the business field also, sometimes a merchant has to tell so many lies to make a profit. If he doesn't do so, there can be no profit. Sometimes a merchant says, "Oh my dear customer, for you I am making no profit." But one should know that without profit the merchant cannot exist. Therefore, it should be taken as a simple lie if a merchant says that he is not making a profit. But the merchant should not think that because he is engaged in an occupation in which the telling of lies is compulsory, he should give up his profession and pursue the profession of a Brahman. That is not recommended. Whether one is Kshatriya, Vaishya, or a Shudra doesn't matter if he serves by his work the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even Brahmanas who perform different types of sacrifice sometimes must kill animals because sometimes animals are sacrificed in such ceremonies. Similarly, if a Kshatriya engaged in his own occupation kills an enemy, there is no sin incurred. In the third chapter, these matters have been clearly and elaborately explained. Every man should work for the purpose of yajna or for Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anything done for the personal sense gratification is a cause of bondage. The conclusion is that everyone should be engaged according to the particular mode of nature he has acquired, and he should decide to work only to serve the supreme cause of the Supreme Lord.
Thank you very much. Let's all chant together. Agyana timirandasya gyana janashalakaya chakshurmritam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं
साद्वैतं
सावधूतं
सावधूतं
परिजनासहितं
परिजनासहितं
कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं
कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं
श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान्
कृष्णपादान्
सकलललिता
सकलनलिता
श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण
हे
करुणा
कृष्ण
सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते
गोपेश
गोपेश गोपिका कांत
गोपान्त
राधा
राधा कान्त
कांत
नमोस्तुते
नमोस्तुते तप्त
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 कांचन
काञ्चन
काञ्चन
गौरांगी
गौराङ्गी
राधे
राधे
वृंदावनेश्वरी
वृन्दावनेश्वरी
विश्वभानुसुते
विश्वभानुसुते
देवी
देवी
प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये
हरिप्रिये
वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कृपा
कृपा
सिन्धुभ्यश्च
सिन्धुभ्येव च
पतितानां
पतितानां
पावनेभ्यो
पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः
नमः
जय श्री कृष्ण
जय श्री
चैतन्य
कृष्ण
प्रभु
चैतन्य
चैतन्य
नित्यानंद श्री
प्रभु
अद्वैत
नित्यानंद
गदाधर
गदाधर
आदि गौरव
गौरव
वृंद
श्रीवासादि
हरे
हरे
कृष्ण
हरे
कृष्ण
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 हरे हरे
कृष्ण हरे हरे
हरे राम
हरे
राम
राम हरे राम
राम राम
राम राम
हरे
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 नीलाचल निवासाय
वासाय नित्याय
नित्याय
परमात्मने
परमात्मने
बलभद्र सुभद्राभ्यां
Bhagavad
जगन्नाथाय ते नमः
So thank you so much for joining this wonderful Sangha. What a verse to ponder. Here Krishna is saying, based on the nature, based on the constitutional nature, you should perform your duties. And even if by performing your duties you are not doing it perfectly, you should not leave your primary act of nature, because we all are made with certain natural uh, ingredients given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Krishna says, Chaturvarna Maya system, Guna Karma Vivagasha. Based on our Guna and Karma, we are made actually. And in Krishna says, by performing someone else's naturally uh, obtained position, you should not perform something just for the sake of performing. So essentially, we are made with one natural ingredient. We are built with a modes of material nature, and that's exactly what we discussed last time, where in 44 2 to 44, Krishna systematically goes and talks about the nature of Brahmana, Kshatriya, and in the 44th, he talks about Vaishyas and Sudra. And then in 45, he reiterates that by keep doing the duty which is supposed to be done by you, you can attain perfection, irrespective of whatever the work you're doing. If you're doing gardening, by keep doing that based on the qualities of the gardening you have attributed and have experienced, you can gain perfection. And then Lord talks about work and worship, not work is worship. And today, Lord is saying, by based on the constitutional position of where you are located, you should continue to do that work. And the perfection is a thing which will gradually come. So let's give an example. You are based on your guna karma, you are a Brahmin, for example, where you are in the mode of goodness and you do not tell lies, and keep doing it. So if somebody is fiery, he's looking very fancy, he's able to take his sword and he's able to shoot or whatever the kshatriya qualities, don't get enamored by the quality of somebody else who is this. So Krishna is saying, don't be a copycat. Whatever you're doing, whatever your constitutional position is, what is the mode of your qualities in terms of how your guna karma vivagasa, based on your activities you have been doing through, disciplic succession or your an ancestral succession. It's not by born though. It's guna karma based on what you end up doing. Just keep doing it and gradually you'll perfect. But just because something is fancy, don't do it. And that is where Krishna was mentioning to Arjuna, that if you Arjuna didn't want to fight. Arjuna was a kshatriya. Kshatriya doesn't mean he has to kill everybody, he has to protect. But he was not able to protect the the right of several individuals. Hastinapur was dictated by someone who is uh, mm, uh, who is very corrupt, and Arjuna at the time of, instead of protecting uh, the subjects, he didn't want to fight. So Krishna said two things. First, Krishna said, if you end up not doing your duty, which is supposed to fight, because you are a Kshatriya, people will think that you ran away from your duties. And the second thing Krishna mentioned, by not performing your duty, you'd fall down to a lower birth and species in the subsequent lives. And let's try to analyze it beyond uh, beyond the aspects of uh, Krishna's message, but looking at why Krishna mentioned to Arjuna about the duties, because Krishna wanted to establish the process of and this modes of material nature is created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Krishna says, I have created this Chaturvarna Maya Sustra is actually created by me. So we have to respect the Supreme Personality of Godhead's message and stick to that. And that is the reason why when we do not stick to that, whenever people, there's nothing right or wrong about being in an upper caste or a middle caste or somebody. Now, because people are enamored by somebody else, they leave their own identity and they end up doing something which they do not belong to. And that is where Arjuna was derailed. He didn't know what to do. I mean, if as a IT person or whatever you're doing, you are not doing the duty and you're fancy doing something else. It's like in a temple, for example, there are brahmanas who take care of the deities. There are kshatriyas who are protecting the temple. If you go to Jagannath Puri or Vrindavan, there are people who are protecting the dham, and they are kshatriyas. They are actually doing the duty that is needed. There are vaishyas who are the mercantile people. They're running the business. They're running the Govindas, or in a way which is getting funds for the temple. And then there are people who should be cleaning the temple. When all these four things comes together, the society flourishes. And instead, if somebody leaves that and goes somewhere else, then there is chaos, which is what Krishna wants to control by saying that whatever your natural position is, whatever your modes of nature controlling you is, whether you are in a mode of goodness, mode of passion, like kshatriyas, and mode of mixture of goodness and passion, and so on and so forth. Just keep doing that, and don't be a copycat by trying to getting enamored. And this is where we have this wonderful pastime where there was a snake, and this snake was biting others, and because of that, people were very uh, fearful of the snake. And when he was alone and nobody could come near him, he met Narad Muni, and Narad Muni said, you did not uh, bite others. That is not a good habit. That is not a good habit. You should not kill others by biting with your poisonous, uh, teeth and everything. So after that, the snake listened to Narad Muni and did not bite anyone. And he became old. When they see that this snake is not biting others, kids and everyone started throwing stones. And he was following Narad Muni's instructions. And when he was constantly doing that, he became very frail. And once again, after a few months, Narad Muni was flowing through, going through that path, and the snake met Narad Muni and asked, Narad Muni was very sad to see him in this condition. And he said, why? What happened to you? Why are you in this shape? Then the snake said, because you told me I did not bite anybody. Narada Muni said, yeah, that's good. But because of that, I'm in this precarious condition. Narada Muni says, no, that's not what I said. I said, don't bite anybody. But that doesn't mean that you won't show your hood. Whenever people come to you, you don't have to bite them. Just show your hood. Stay in the natural position. Your position is, as a snake, is to protect yourself. Just show your hood. You don't have to bite them. They will run away. So the moral of the pastime here is is the snake did not stay in the constitutional position of the more symmetrical nature he's made out to be. And then, because of this imperfection, he was bitten. So the instruction has to be taken in the right context. And that is where we have this example that, once a fox was, going through a path, and there was a painter, uh, and he got a bucket of paint, blue paint, fell on it, and this fox, who is typically a person who typically they congregate in the evening and then do a noise. All of a sudden, with the paint on him, people start. I mean, in the forest, the animals started thinking that this person is a unique creature, and they made him the king because he's looking very unique. And they put him in the pedestal or the singhasan, thinking that he's going to rule, and he was carried away by their invitations, and he was as if he was ruling the thing. But by the time the evening came, all the foxes around that far and wide, they started uh, making a noise, and that noise was so attractive because his natural position is actually is his natural position is actually a fox. He needs to mix with his friends, and they keep on doing the natural chores every day. But for a moment, as he was filled in the blue color paint, people gave him so much of the forest friends gave so much of um, love, that for a moment he wanted to be carried away and wanted to be the king. But actually, when the sound started brimming around him, he recognized his original position and he just ran. So these two pastimes tells us, and actually the greatest U-turn in anyone's life is Arjuna, who is about to throw the arrow and not fight, and how Krishna convinced him at the end of this chapter, which we are going to get to in few weeks, is convinced him about the duty, the constitutional position of our natural constitutional position, which will drive what we should do, even if we are not perfecting it. And that is the reason why, I was looking at some traits in India, the trait of getting, gur or the sugarcane from the tip of the palm tree, wherein you go in with difficulty with a rope around you, so that you go up and you put a funnel kind of a thing, and then you uh, put a pot so that all the sugary drops are accumulated, and you go next day or next day to take it out, and then you boil it. And that process of naturally making sugarcane from the palm tree syrups is on the decline. The owner is saying, the owner is saying his son or daughter, they're not taking up to that. The natural constitutional position is uh, he is uh, he is uh, very much uh, confused in the sense that they want to go through the green pastures and uh, and not keep doing their duties. And likewise, the person who is actually boiling the syrup, uh, his son and daughter, they are no more coming into this profession. So quite a lot of the natural, um, uh, ancient constitutional positions are on the decline. There are quite a lot of activities which are getting shunned because of the machinery which is trying to automate a lot of things. So the constitutional position is is something which is significant, and that is why it is very important that these Chaturvarna, which is made by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, uh, has to be followed in the right sense. And there is nothing right or wrong, or there's nothing high or low. And that is why we should stop enamoring ourselves with something else. When we end up doing something else, the situation becomes like the bull blue fox, or the snake whose constitution position is to protect himself. He ceased to protect him, and he was met with brickbats, which is because of that he was wounded, and so on and so forth. And Arjuna, for that matter, he also was not trying to protect, but instead he want his sentimental things took over, and that is where the sentiments have to be kept aside in furthering our goal of following what the Supreme Personality of Godhead has said, and not get sentimentally aligned that, hey, I will become better if I, that is the reason why in whenever a sannyasi comes, you feel enamored that, hey, the sannyasi has so many disciples and he's talking so many nice things. You get enamored, but you haven't made any purity or progress in your spiritual life. You become, and then you start making disciples, and finally your inner desire did not go off. And finally, when you see someone having this smoke or whatever, you start smoking, you see so many of them, of these mendicants who are smoking, and that is what is called premature renunciation, which is not recommended. So whatever we're doing, even if we're doing grihastha, even if we're doing brahmacharya, even if we are doing vanaprastha, retired life, or even if we are doing sannyas, keep doing that with the right way. Not Don't get enamored unnaturally by something, and try to, even if you're doing imperfectly, as Lord is saying, don't leave that. Keep doing this. If you keep doing it imperfectly over a period of time, time will make you perfect. But if by doing that you will not incur sin, which is exactly Lord is saying. So beautifully, Lord is saying, Shreyan Swadharma Viguna, Paradharma Swanushtita, Paradharma Swanushtita. Means however the paradharma you can do it perfectly, and your own dharma you are doing it imperfectly, biguna subhava niyatam karma kurvan apnoti kilvisham. That means, if you even if you imperfectly keep doing what you're doing where you're naturally positioned, you will not incur sin. You'll But if you end up following somebody else's, and that is exactly what happened to uh, karna Karna uh, was uh, was born in a lesser varna, but he had tremendous amount of crave and craze for for being a kshatriya, and he was fighting. He was craving for being a mercenary, in a way, and he was trying a lot, and finally um, it all came about. It came about, the the process, the circle of karma took over, and he was punished. And he did so many bad things by siding with Duryodhana, by being part of the assembly where Draupadi Maharani's disrobing was going on. And he, for that matter, being a Danavir karma kind of mindset where he's very charitable, but he didn't really stick to the basic principles of dharma, of protection. If he is a Kshatriya, he should have protected, and he didn't do it. And all these things have reactions, and we have seen it. So, just to summarize before I end, Arjuna's U turn, the snake's ability to not follow what he should be following, and and uh, and the blue jackal fox example we spoke about, and Karna for that matter. These are classic examples of why we should stick to what we do, and with that, we will excel over a period of time. We'll become perfect, but not get enamored by somebody else's dharma, by being copycat. And that's the reason why people do so many things which they are not naturally tuned to do. They do it, but you look at the output of what they have done in other places, it's a disaster. They're not really made. That's the reason why Srila Prabhupada says, in order to make your temple successful, you need to have strong devotees who have strong faith in this process, in the Krishna conscious process. If the devotees are not strong, temple is not going to manifest properly. And that is exactly what Krishna is saying in 18.47, that as long as all the aspects of the Varna is strengthened, the entire society strengthens. Now, Brahmanas are falling down, Kshatriyas are not doing their duty, uh, Vaishyas are, trying to sort of make money by the wrong way, and the service providers are not cleaning it properly, and that's why outside it is. So it's a disaster in a way. So when not all varnas work in coherence, in a choreography, in a in a in a way where everything should be complementing each other, there is disaster in a society. So with that, like to end here, like to hear your comments and reflections on this very powerful verse. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I have one question here. It said that Kshatriyas should kill people. There's no harm in doing that one. Vaishyas, they're allowed to lie. So is it acceptable thing? Because Vaishya will lie to make profit, and Kshatriyas will kill people to protect themselves or protect their land or their kingdom. So is it allowed? It is because we, in the other way, we think that okay, killing people, killing animals is not right.
Hmm.
So it is acceptable because this verse says that, right?
Yeah, yeah. Very nice question. And Srila Prabhupada was also asked this question. So if you are a Kshatriya, you go to the streets and you kill, you will be put in jail. But if you are a army general and you be in the border and you kill your enemy, you will be given Padma Shri or Paramvir Chakra or whatever. So the point is, our varna or our responsibility has to be understood. So, as a Kshatriya, if you're protecting the country and you're in the front lines and you're killing, as you read from the purport of Srila Prabhupada, that is absolutely fine. You'll be a hero. You'll be given a, Captain Maneksha, and so many gallantry portions of Indian armed forces are given stars for that. But if you misuse that right of being a Kshatriya, then you will be punished. And that is the message. Okay, on the topic of the businessman, which you spoke about, uh, if he uh, tells the truth, because he gets it for certain price, he puts little profit and he sells. But if you start telling the truth that he got it for 10 rupees and he sells it for 9 rupees, he will make loss. He cannot sustain the business. So he has to add little profit. So in the sense, but there should be a limit by which you end up making genuine profit without being greedy. And then, and there are certain things where, this is how, I would like to explain. We were discussing about it a couple of days back. See, earlier, whenever there will be price rise, the government would, decide that, hey, these people are probably getting 3-4% raise every year. So if the prices goes up by 3-4%, it's still fine. But nowadays, all that decision making has been done by AI ML, where they are realizing that even if we end up, even if these people are making, increase in salary of 3 to 5%, but even if I make the profit, if I make the cost of the items by 15% or 20%, they will lose, but it is not going to drop the sales of a certain article. So because the human angle is being taken away, so all I wanted to say, going back to your situation, is the person who is running the business, he need to make little profit, in the sense, if the person says, hey, you are getting it for 10 rupee and you are selling it for 12, that is the truth. But if you're selling it for 20, then people start asking you how much you got it for, and that is where you would say, you try to cover up. And so the moral of the argument over there is to be truthful enough to continue with the business, so that you can continue. But at some point when it becomes greedy, and then when you are trying to lie, it is going to affect uh, the outcome, and that is where you are sort of swaying away from dharma. So it's all about how to stay in the conflict, because if the businessmen don't tell, if businessman tells everything, everybody will try to be a businessman. So they have to withhold things. But as a process, if it becomes a aspect of greed, then that has to be shunned. That is the message, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Any other comments? Anybody wants to address Prabhuji's question in a different way? Because Krishna consciousness is a unique things, and these frequently asked questions are received and imparted differently by virtue of the consciousness and by virtue of your jnana knowledge. So anybody can opine in this forum. Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanva Pramana Guruji.
Okay.
Sorry, Prabhuji, I'm under the weather. My voice is not great. Prabhuji, 2 points I want to discuss here. One, the Varna and Ashrama is perfect, Prabhuji, but where we are practically failing is the recognition of it, right? Uh, that is because we have changed our system of education, maybe, right? We are not. Who is there to? Who is going to? Means classify us as a student, like it is not like a entrance test, right, Prabhuji? It is a your way of life, right, which should tell whether you are a by nature brahmana or a kshatriya or a shudra. So we have to, that is missing, I think, Prabhuji, now. And two, I want to give an example of that, where Kurma Gramam, you heard of that, Prabhuji? Kurma Gramam, anyone? In Andhra Pradesh, there is a place called Kurma Gramam by Bhakti Vikas Swami Maharaj. So there, what they are practicing this, because Prabhupada has told that 50% only is done, rest of the 50% is to establish Varnashram Dharma. So based on that principle, like what Gaurang Prabhu are doing, but these people are doing some at a more more natural level. That is, they are producing their own food, they are weaving their own cloth, and they don't have any electricity, they don't have any internet, they don't have any TV, and they have a kind of higher education. First 10 years everybody reads everything, Prabhuji, like basics languages and basic mathematics, uh, and but after that, based on their traits, as this Krishna is explaining in Varnashram Dharma, they are classifying, and they have a kind of a university they call, where they are practicing that, who wants to go farming, who wants to go wood carpentry, who wants to go to, and they are basically simple living, high thinking principle, and they are trying to be self sustained. They don't want to basically run this rat race, what we generally are running. And so what we should institute, or what we should practicality, is that Prabhuji, identification, right? That is the main essence here. I may be born in a Brahmana family, but I may not be inclined for all Brahmanical qualities. I may be a Shudra, or I may be a Kshatriya, whatever that situation may be. So how we can bridge that gap, Prabhuji? That is what my main perplexity is here.
Yeah. So, so irrespective of where you are born, but if you have inclination by virtue of your karma and guna karma vivagasa,
Hmm.
to be a gymnast or a wrestler, uh, even if you're born from a, if you practice that, if you practice that, not based on the caste of how you're born, but if you practice that, and there you use these things to protect, if somebody's in trouble physically and whatnot, help, then that is going to, instead of and you're continuously trying to do that, but then by virtue of some external saying that, hey, brahmanas are superior, then that is like copying. So instead of really stepping out of your guiding principle of your constitutional position, if you sway, that is what Krishna is trying to say, that you should avert. If you are, if
Right, Prabhuji. My question is that how can we implement this? No, this is natural, Prabhuji. So because we are not, because I'm doing engineering, but maybe I didn't have a natural inclination for engineering, or a natural inclination for programming, right? But still we are doing for the sake of doing. So what I'm telling is we should institute this on Varnashram Dharma, and try to understand. Means somebody should
yeah, it is
realize.
because of the commercial angle
Right.
particular profession brings to the
Mm.
table. Actually, I was having this conversation with my uncle. He is actually a Sanskrit professor, and in the Sanskrit stream, not the best students go. But he mentions that if the best students won't go to engineering or medicine or law or wherever and come to Sanskrit, Sanskrit itself can be looked at scientifically, and it can flourish as a work stream, because there is a lot of excavation work, there's a lot of groundwork which has gone in, and people can excel, like our ISKCON, for
Gauranga
that
Prabhu.
matter,
Yeah.
has taken the Sanskrit verses from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and have taken it to so many levels. It has been translated to English. Now from English it has been translated to 50 100 languages. So the point is, there is an, unless we sort of make it appealing, because our intention to align or getting enamored has to do with the commercial angle. So that commercial angle is not uh, priority in some other countries. In some other countries, if somebody wants to paint well, there is uh, there is there are systems which are going to give him help so that he can flourish in being a painter, which is not the case in many other places, which is why that copycat mentality has sunk in. So once we make our professions, all this varna and ashram, which Krishna is mentioning, appealing and make it commercial enough, or because people are not going to sacrifice commerce to gain perfection. And this is where we have to, unless you have full understanding of the scriptures and you're going by the commercial nature, you will be swayed or enamored by something. Instead, if our method in that Kurma Gram, if as they take to scriptures fundamentally and they're very strong at that, they defy the commercial angle, and that can only bridge the gap and solve the problem what you are referring to.
Yeah, so we should. I want to. I'm talking loud, Prabhuji. What I'm telling is that is what Prabhupada's 50%. What is remaining is the establishing the Varnashram Dharma, basically. So we should basically uh, try to go and do that, so that way there are now 4 such villages in India, Prabhuji. So that number should increase self-sustainability and simple living, high thinking, and following the scriptures. Um, Means one is at a body level, simple living for the body, whatever is needed, and the high thinking is the study of the scriptures and following the Krishna, basically. That is the high thinking, Prabhuji. Consciousness, a transformation of the consciousness.
Mm.
So, but we are deviating, we are not recognizing this Varnashram Dharma, Prabhuji. That is my point I was trying to tell here. That Krishna has clearly established this, but we are not following because of the commercialization, right? As you told.
Yeah. Actually, the this is the classic example. The number of vegetarian in this world is declining significantly. However, the vegetarianism is something which is recommended by Bhagavad Gita. But if you see, it is just going in the other direction, and then that's where there are a lot of studies which is kind of professing the protein angle and all that. So I think this is exactly where, whether it happens or not, we, this bunch of 7 people who are discussing this on a Friday evening, if we take this seriously and kind of gain,
Propagate, basically.
propagate, or gain confidence in the value scriptures brings to our lives, and have conviction on the method of scriptures, then it will go in every family, and from the family. Once upon a time, there was no ISKCON 60 years back, 50, 55 years back. But Srila Prabhupada, by virtue of his hard work, and he kind of got this accessible to all of us. And it's a matter of we trying to share this wonderful message. And that's why people will realize, because this verse, for example, is such a powerful verse, but many are not taking this seriously. And if somebody listens to it and appreciates it, he is going to tell about the power of this verse, and that is going to influence. And influence doesn't change overnight; it takes time. But
Right, right.
and we'll have to do that.
Prabhuji, Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj, who is establishing schools, what is the curriculum there, Prabhuji? I think it is somewhat related to the. It's a mix of both, I think, right, Prabhuji?
Yeah, you're talking about Indian tribal care.
Indian tribal care. Yeah.
Indian tribal care in northeastern states, in
Right.
the tribal area, where the conversion is massive.
Massive. Yeah.
Where whenever there is somebody who is not getting food or whatever, there is some other
Yeah, it
religious
is.
group, and
Yeah.
and it's massive, and that is where ISKCON through this Indian tribal care is going and instilling because they live in the forest. If you look at Jambavan,
Mm.
Hanuman, Angad, and Bali, they were all, all from the
Forest dwellers.
forest. So
Forest dwellers.
our essence is in the forest, and they helped Ramji achieve what, Ramji could have done it by himself, but they are instruments. Ramji gives importance to them. So the point is, it's in the core. So when Bhakti Purushottama Maharaj and everyone from our ISKCON, they go and propagate Ramayana, Mahabharat, it comes naturally to them actually, and they take to it. And the education they follow, they have local boards. They have in Tripura, they have Tripura board. When in Bengal, they may have a Bengal board, and sometimes, and on the top of it, they take to Bhagavad Gita seriously. So it's the local board. You get education, but at the top of it you have the spiritual education, which kind of fosters their hunger and
Great project. Okay.
and takes care. So if anybody wants information about this ISKCON's ministry, it's a bona fide ministry of ISKCON, Indian Tribal Care. You can Google it, and you just see the kind of work ISKCON's Indian Tribal Care is doing to curb this conversion, which is going all around the villages and tribal areas.
And not only conversion, Prabhuji, they are also socio-economic means upliftment is also happening. They are teaching new
Y-
vocational training and all of
Absolutely,
that thing.
absolutely. See, they have energy. They're in the
Right.
forest. You just tell
Yeah.
them the skills. You build the skills. You give them
Guidance.
education.
Yeah.
You give them science. You give them, and you give them. You basically nurture their consciousness, and they become. Earlier, they were into, unregulated activities. Now you regulate them.
Mm.
So everything
Right.
is focused, and that is when they become successful human beings, and that is where it's a big success story. So Maharaj will come in the month of June. I think he's going to come to our temple on the 22nd of June. Sunday feast class he's giving. He's also going to give some snippets about Indian tribal care. So you have an opportunity to contribute to the schools they're doing. You can also do it electronically as well. Indian tribal care website is there. The kind of work Maharaj is doing, Maharaj is from Odisha, and now he's totally revolutionized
Right, Prabhu.
this, and now the conversion has come down actually in those areas. Earlier it was a total free, you go and start converting, but
It was
now,
exponentially they were getting converted, Prabhuji.
yeah,
Yeah, I know.
yeah,
It's an
yes, so they are
exponential rate.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah. So when people know about their inner strengths and their internal position and their constitutional position, and you strengthen that, as Krishna is saying here, instead of really copycatting or getting converted or whatever, that really is our
Yeah, we are telling them the science basically, bro.
exactly whatever Krishna has said. You're just
Mm.
telling them in plain, simple language, and that's what it's taking. It's so natural.
And the focus is on higher thinking, Prabhuji. The focus is not on getting the basic living, basically.
Exactly, right. Definitely. Any other comments, reflections? Krishna, your voice is very low, and
Mm.
also earlier your voice is up down. I don't know if there is any issue with the phone. Please speak louder, Prabhu.
Is it okay to hear or
No,
still?
no, it's still low. Unless others are hearing.
No, I cannot hear at all, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
Can you hear me now, Prabhuji, or still it's slow?
It's very, very feeble and very
Very
low.
feeble, Prabhuji.
Oh, okay. Maybe some okay, Prabhuji. Yeah. Yeah, Prabhuji, can you hear me now, or still it's low?
No, it's good. It's better.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Prabhuji, nice class. Thank you so much. I have a lot of good examples. So, Prabhuji, I have one thing like I've seen like a lot of Brahmin families near to my home. where the entire family, they do worship in the temples. But their children, they started working on, do business or do these IT jobs. So basically, is it like something they're violating what Krishna is saying in this verse, or because I see like their father, their grandfather, everyone, right? They do this temple worship, this deity worship, but some of the children basically they don't follow that and they do their own, business, or maybe they started on the IT work, right? So in that case, is there like violating what Krishna is saying here, or?
Yeah, so Prabhu, that's exactly what Bhakti Ratnakar Prabhu was saying. He was saying that the commercialization has become so much that they are getting enamored by something else which they are not. So their constitutional position based on guna karma should have been to not just do karma kind of doing puja in temple, is to arouse that consciousness, read scriptures, convey the aspect of truthfulness and propagate truthfulness with everybody. That is exactly why the Brahminical sects are empowered to do. But instead, they're realizing actually if they do it in a nice way, they resort to nice Brahminical education. There are opportunities for commerce there also. If somebody wants to learn Sanskrit, you can get a lot of, but because their inner strength or inner faith in that particular guna karma is not strong enough, they're resorting to copycat mentality, and which is why they are doing commercial shops, IT, whatever. So that entire lineage of scholars, which they could have started, their family could have started, because as you said, there are 2 or 3 generations who are very potent, but they left all that knowledge transfer is gone, and now they have started. So they are doing purely for the commercial reasons, and unless we, as custodians of our own dharma, make nice arrangements, like Maharaj, Bhakti Vikas Maharaj in that example, he has sacrificed everything to bring up that atmosphere wherein the village could survive, village could thrive. And because everybody wants to put bread onto the table mentality, with that, they have left this thing. So definitely there is degradation of consciousness, because of which they are losing that. But I must admit, I know in Jagannath Puri, Prabhu, there are many lineage Panda families who have been serving Lord Jagannath. They are awarded a seva on certain dates. Their garland seva, this seva. They are getting jobs outside, but they are not leaving. So there are two aspects you could see. There are people of their entire generation after generation and generation serving Lord Jagannath in Jagannath Puri. So it is how we have maybe their parents, they themselves are successful in being pujaris and priests, but they have not done enough nurturing of their kids, so that they are not able to focus, and they are going astray. And Prabhu, a time will come, this realization will sink in, but unless both sides, unless they are strong enough to have faith in their guna karma, guna and karma, or you or the society makes strong efforts to imbibe that, it's a lost cause. So I can't say they're violating. It is just that the situation is driving them towards commercialization. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. So also maybe Sunday is Ram Navami, right? So
Mhm.
so we are fasting till noon. So after noon we have to break our fasting to Ekadasi food or to
Regular
that not?
prasadam, Prabhuji.
Okay.
Regular prasadam.
Regular food. Ramnavami. Ramnavami, no.
Just like how we do for Nityanand Prabhu.
Oh, okay. 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 Thank you.
Prabhuji, just FYI, I shared the link, Prabhuji, if somebody wants to see what that village is doing, yeah, on our group.
Okay, okay. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Any other comments, questions, reflections about this verse? Why we should instill faith in guna karma and not get attracted uh, for the sake of uh, being attracted to something else in this world.
That is mainly because, Prabhuji, one point is because we strayed away from the barter system. So we are trying to accumulate now. In barter system, we were never accumulating. We were just exchanging. Whatever we could consume, we were consuming. Rest we were exchanging. So now we got, since this currency concept came and this crypto and all of this and our natural paper currency, we started accumulating. Means greed came, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, one just another aspect in that just Prabhuji asked that one family, priest family there, they do puja and they go to temple, but their kids are going to mainly IT. So here, we discussed that a Brahmin son may not be Brahmin, right? Unless they practice, unless they like
Mhm.
the job and do it properly, right? So
That's true. That's true.
yeah, so probably they don't like it, they don't want it, so they took bath with them. That doesn't mean that they would do the puja. Our caste system is like that, but
Mm.
they prefer to, because one aspect is, one explanation we gave, a commercialization and making more money, and
Mhm.
another thing is whatever they like they did.
Yeah, so this is where you say you're saying that the liking for a occupation has to do not with janma, it is with guna and karma. As Krishna is saying, it's not about janma, it's about guna karma. Otherwise, Krishna would have said, janma karma vivagasa. He said guna karma vivagasa. So it's not about janma. So, but the point, I think Prabhuji is mentioning one more thing is the parents, if they are passionate about their scholarly skills of being a Brahmin, they did not go overbound to inspire their kids. As a upholder of dharma, if they would have done it, they would not have they would have had liking for the Brahminical practices and scholarly practices and Sanskrit and so and so forth. And that is how it was before. A father took important uh, steps in imbibing that sense of uh, guna and karma in the kid. And likewise, a blacksmith who is melting iron and making different things is actually imbibing that in his son, who is helping, and he is learning the tricks of the trade. But in this case, they did not either, uh, and they did not give them enough,
Exposure.
environment or
Mhm.
exposure to build or rather liken that aspect, and that is a concern, not that they just fled away into IT because they didn't born with computers. They were born with prarthanas in their house, but they still couldn't caught onto it. So it's essentially uh, the corruption in the society which is making them they are not able to follow Bhagavad Gita, but they know how much every IPL player
Mm.
makes. So it is because of our uh, corruption of what it should have been, but it's not India is basically the Vedic capital of the whole world, but now people are resorting to others because sadly that has not been uh, able to be protected. And if naturally they are good in IT or they are good in cricket or whatever, that's fine. If naturally they are born, there is nothing wrong. Actually, they are more welcome to add value and skills in the new profession.
Yes, Prabhuji. One more point, Prabhuji. Yes, extending your point, Prabhuji, that if they have natural inclination, that's what Krishna means them to do. So they should go for it, Prabhuji. But if the consciousness is to earn money, that's why they are straying away from the Brahmanical thing. That is not true, Prabhuji. That is the fundamental point is that our consciousness should be rooted in this Varnashram Dharma, Prabhuji. Sanatan Varnashram Dharma, basically, that whatever is your skill, you excel in it, definitely you should go for it, Prabhuji. But if the commercial angle, if to earn more money, why IPL gets more, Prabhuji? Because of advertisements and all, they get more money, right, Prabhuji, of betting and all these things. If he's a natural cricketer, let him play natural cricket, Prabhuji. But why cricket has become a more appealing is because of the money, and two, fun. Definitely fun, but it is more than fun. It is money, Prabhuji. That's why betting came into picture, right? Everything become money oriented. So that is what I think Krishna is also emphasizing here, that if you are good at something, do it, but for the sake of Krishna, don't do it for your sense gratification.
Yeah. So it's essentially the curiosity to try something new without staying with the roots. Sometime back, Prabhu, if you remember, marijuana was legalized as a medicine or whatever. But if you see, that should have been a medicinal intent. But after that, if you see, since that thing came about, the number of smoking bars has multiplied in New Jersey. The point we're trying to make here is once you open up a, a door, people will find ways to
Exploit
find,
it. Mhm.
exploit, or commercialize or whatever. So that is how it is. Once you let go the scholarly angle from your family, they can go anywhere actually, and that is what is happening. And that Vedic roots, if they are naturally gifted and they are like Rama Nujam and all doing IT with good maths and logic, and that's fine. But the crave is actually destroying both. They are not keeping them rooted, and the same time, if this was not a conviction, it was just a commercial gig, and they fail and they come back, and neither they are here nor they are there. So that those are the considerations, bro.
Yeah, if you have IT inclination, Prabhuji, bring the Vedas into the computers, do the large language models for all the Vedic injunctions, Prabhuji. So, if really you want to be okay, you are born in a Brahmana's family, but you want to do something with the current trend, you can do that. But with Krishna in the center, if you do, Prabhuji, that also, I think Krishna is telling that is fine if that is your natural proclivity or inclination.
Yeah, is that okay, bro? Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you. Any other comments or reflection? Yeah. So let's end here. Day after tomorrow is a very powerful day. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ram, was born, and there is huge celebration in our temple. You can offer Pushpa Abhishek to Lord Ram in our temple. Come early, and in your hands you offer petals. And Ramji is a hero for many. What he did. What he exemplified. What he could have easily walked out of the exile because his mom did not ask him to do it. In this situation, how many people will take difficulty for the sake of some, uh, you know, something which was spoken, 10, 20 years back by not by your own. So it's a very philosophical, it's a very powerful message Lord Ram has given. Lord Ram is actually a hero uh, for 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 a lot of devotees, a lot of great devotees. They admire and they respect Lord Ram's heroism. Just going to a different country, attacking the main person, and just securing uh, and keeping and securing his wife, and it's just astounding when you think about what Ramji and his actions are. Your hair will stand, and just to meditate on the powerful personality of Lord Ram, uh, you can really, and there are references to that from Srimad Bhagavatam and everywhere. So please take to Ram Navami day after tomorrow, and seriously internalize uh, the the star Ramji was in his way in which he dealt with his family, dealt with his brothers, dealt with his spouse, dealt with his servitors, Hanumanji, and eventually dealt with the enemy. It's if there would have, there is a hero who, there's no one in terms of, if you want to put an image in front of you and try to talk about the 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 heroism, Ramji will be uh, glittering. So take to Ram Navami seriously, serve Lord Ram in whatever capacity you can. There is a big feast on the evening in the temple as well. So a lot of festivities, dioramas will be there, Pushpa Abhishek will be there, Ram Katha will be there. So please participate, and you will derive a lot of bliss. That's all. Next Friday we'll discuss 18.48. Is there any other comments before we end? Okay. So let's offer prayers at the lotus feet of all Vaishnavas by saying Vancha Kalpataru Vaishya Kripa Sindhu Vaivacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namo. Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Granth Raj Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari
Hari
Bol.
Hari Bol.
Jagannatha Prabhu ki jai.